You are now listening to Love and War, the male and female perspective of love, life, and relationships in the 21st century, with your host, Crystal Francis.
What's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning into another episode of Love and War. I'm your host, Dr. Francis, and today we are going to be talking about the topic single and unwilling to settle. You know, we have a story for how these topics come about, but before we jump too deep into the topic, we're going to give a shout out to the panel tonight. First out the gate, Showtime. How you doing tonight, sir?
What's going on, everybody? I'm happy to be here. Blessed to see another day, another week here with the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful cast of Love and War. Just looking forward to having a very productive and positive week.
Awesome. And we're going to kick it over to protect Black women at all costs, rocking the shirts, Theo Jones.
Yeah, happy Women's Month. You know Showtime serious when you don't got the hat on, so you know what he said. He's serious. But I'm doing good. Weather's starting to turn, so hopefully, it's get darker later. So people be happy. Just be outside. Meet someone.
Yes. Like I was like driving today. I think it was like 6 o'clock. I was like, the sun isn't down. Yes, spring is on the way. So I think, I don't know if the groundhog came out, didn't see a shadow, but because the sun is starting to no longer set by 5 o'clock, I'm happy to feel like that weather. This past weekend it was like 60 degrees. So yay. All right, Lock Knots, what's going on, TW?
Hey. I am really having an amazing day. Like this weather, I think really will change your mood, like for real. I'm over the snow. I hope we're done with that. But I really love this like spring type of weather that's trying to come, and I hope it stays for real.
Definitely. So y'all single and unwilling to settle. There are a lot of people out here, TW. Lots of people out here that are out here clocking people's body clock, thinking their eggs about to freeze up and dry up because they're over the age of 35. So shout out. So first and foremost, let me do my due diligence. What month is it, Theo?
Women's Month, not Women's Month.
Yes, it's Women's History Month. And I would also like to give a shout out to all of the Pisces because it is also Pisces season. So my birthday is coming up next Tuesday. I will be 36 years old. And in talking with a lot of individuals, some people are of the mind. I mean, I know I don't look 36. Showtime. And why are you making that face, Showtime?
I wasn't. That was the face I was making before you said it.
Oh, okay. But I'm just saying that there are a lot of people out here. I mean, there are people who are turning 40. There are people who are turning 45. And, women and men, I just feel like this just generation, a lot of people are getting single. Well, they're staying single and they're getting older and they're getting more educated and they're not getting married as young as like my parents were. My parents got married when they were like 20, which isn't that young. But if I go back to my grandmother's age, she was like married by the time she was like 18, they were like married and had their first child. So I want to talk about being single and unwilling to settle because people sometimes assume that single people are single because they can't find anybody or they're not attracting people, when that might not necessarily be the case. You could be single, you could be out here mingling and thriving, and you just haven't tied down the knot because you haven't found that one that you feel like you're willing to come off the market for, in so many words. And I'll even it doesn't matter if it's a male or female, because I hear a lot of times with women who dealing with guys, they're like, well, you about to be 36, you about to be 37, you about to be 40, you need to start settling down, having a family. And they're like, no, I'm good right now, I'm chilling. So let's talk about single and unwilling to settle, and let's kind of dispel some of the myths around being single. So, TW, I'm gonna kick it over to you first. First and foremost, what are some of the assumptions that you heard from people who just have something to say about women being single? Like it's not a choice. Like they just have to be single because nobody wants them.
Well, you hit the nail on the head. A lot of it really for women is that assumption that no one wants us. I've also heard on the other end, which I think is bogus, is that we're too far out the league for men. And I'm like, excuse me, huh? No, because there are men of caliber. Like, I don't understand. And then whose measurements are you placing this on? Like, and usually people who say this are people who are already married, and they've been married for like, I'm gonna give one couple an example who were only married for 3 months, and now they just feel like they're Heather and Cornelius Lindsay. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay, I'm not gonna put no names out, but you know who I'm talking about. So then they feel like they have a one size fits all formula. Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Showtime.
It was this movie, and I think it was Hoodlum.
Hoodlum.
It was a very good movie, and my father always used this term that the guy Whispers said to Bumpy Johnson, "It's your time, Bumpy." So when is your time?
It's your time.
When is your time? That's when is your time. Some of the myths that actually come along with the woman being over 35, and I'm guilty of this. I'm sure that most men are. You ask the question, "What's wrong with you?"
Ooh.
Why aren't you married? Why has a man proposed to you? Why don't you have any children? Are your tubes? Are your ovaries working? You know, are you a bitch? Do you run men away? So at the end of the day, those are some of the questions that come up from the male perspective, asking a woman, where are they in their life? You don't know if that woman chose her career. You don't know if the woman has been traumatized. You don't know if that woman has had some issues in her life with men. Or she might say, you know what? Now I'm interested in men, but I've been on the other side. So you have to be
a couple of those.
So you have to be open to any possibility and any curveball that's thrown at you, but don't always assume, because we know what happens when you assume. So just ask the proper questions that won't get you out of the park, because we as men sometimes can say the wrong thing that will X us out of that particular woman who could be our soulmate, who may have just been focused on other things in their life at that time. So you have to be very cautious on how you attack it. I'm guilty of it because I've said it before, directly and indirectly. Talking to a 50-year-old woman, I won't put her out here or who's dating her, but I asked her, you're 50 years old, you've never been engaged? You don't have any children? What's wrong? You know, so that's a natural assumption, and it goes the same for women as well. Mm-hmm. Women will have the same assumption with the man. You don't have, because I have a cousin who's getting married, but he's 40, turning 41, no kids, nothing. He's a commodity. I said, boy, you're a unicorn, because that doesn't happen.
Right.
You know, 41 years old, no kids, no nothing. So at the end of the day, just be cautious on how you ask, what you say, and how you attack the situation, because you could bite yourself in the butt.
Theo.
I think, yeah. I mean, like I said, I think all guys, we've been guilty. You know, you still single? You must be crazy. You know, like when you was young, you crazy. Like, what's wrong with you? And I think it's because most of the time, I don't think it comes from a vicious place. Is that we're seeing, I mean, it seems like you got it together. You're good arm candy. I don't understand why, and we're not realizing maybe it's something in your mind why you just aren't ready to be there. But I think most of the time it doesn't come from a malicious place. It's like really know why. Like, what, we are confused, but we don't have to get an answer. You guys don't have to answer that, but I think sometimes that's what we want.
Okay, so I want to so I did, I'm always researching something. And so it's funny when you type in single, right, in Google, the first things that pop up as far as like advice is top reasons why I'm single. Like even the Google search is biased against, like there's something wrong. Oh, these are the reasons why. And I picked up, the first one that popped up, and I just want to read off some of these reasons why people are single. And I want y'all to just give your reaction to some of these. And you can co-sign or tear it down. All right, this one, here are the eight reasons. Well, I'm not going to do all 8. We'll just pick some. Too defensive. Unhealthy attractions. Fear of intimacy. Pickiness. Low self-esteem. Fear of competition. Isolation and routine. Rule-making. These are the reasons why people are single. I'm like, not one do I hate because I want to be, because that's my business. Like Tabitha says, like Tab says, because that's my business.
When people ask me why am I single, my famous answer is because I don't have a woman. It's very logical. That's why I'm single, because I don't have a woman.
Ooh.
We're Virgos. We play with your mind. We get your mind right. we gonna mind fuck you. But the thing is, my issue has always been my pickiness. I can only speak for myself. I'm very picky, and I know Tasha is too. So we pay attention to the smallest details.
I am too.
And the one that's rare for Pisces. They like to swim all around. They like everything. So some of the things,
I'm gonna come for him.
Don't do it. So sometimes, because I pay attention to so many intricate details, I know I have probably missed out on some great women in my life. Because I'm like, I can hear her chew. That's how petty I've been. If I can hear you chew, it goes through my soul.
What do you mean you can hear her chew?
Never sat next to anybody and you heard them chew? Just tell me you haven't, please. And I'm like this.
You mean when they're eating and it's just like annoying, like you can hear them and it's loud?
Not smacking, but you can hear them chew.
Dang, Showtime. I was about to call you your real name.
I can't do this. So it's certain things that I had as I'm getting older, as you all know, I'm in my 40th year.
You're evolving.
And I said, you know what? I have to change. I have to evolve.
Yeah, see?
So that list gotta get a little, it gotta shrink a little bit because my window is closing. So it's like, okay.
But you're still not settling though.
You never settle. Settling is never an option if you want something that's successful and that you want for long term. But pickiness, being picky, I'm guilty. I'm a felon for that.
Showtime. I mean, not Showtime. Jesus. Theo. My bad.
The one that stuck out to me was the pickiness one, because I think sometimes men and women take me being picky and me settling the same thing, which is not. Some women and men are out here chasing ghosts like Miss Pat-Man. All right, it's just I take it. Finding a relationship is kind of like buying a house to me. If you try to find that perfect house all the time, you're not going to find it. It's not going to happen unless you want to build your own house, like we said, to build the bear, but ground up. But you're not going to find it. And it's going to take forever. You got to find a house that, okay, maybe the kitchen's not what I like, but you can always remodel. People change throughout the years, so you just got to see, how Showtime says. You got to take some of that picking the stuff off and look at the framework. Stay in the house thing. Look at the framework, and then you could build off that.
That analogy, I really do, because you make a great point. It's just, even like buying a car. You might like this car. Oh, it don't have a sunroof. It don't have a backup camera. But is the sunroof necessary? Is the quality? The backup camera, is it So I get it. Bluetooth is, you got to pick on that list. Which one of those are you not willing to live with? And then the ones that can be, that you can go without, you can strike off the list and still not settle. Okay. TW.
Yeah, I definitely am going to echo everyone else about the pickiness. Like Short Tom said, we are picky. And I think a lot of it is because we're also orderly. We like things handled a certain way. Fellow Virgos, we just like things a certain way. That's just how it is. We really like things in an orderly way, in an orderly fashion. Cleanliness. It's just certain things, and so you got to really kind of, okay, like you got to kind of look at those things and like Theo said, really go through that list and figure out, okay, which one is really worth taking the risk for and which things are not. And so I think just kind of that develops with maturity and with time. But I also want to tackle the too defensive, because I see on social media a lot of the women, come on y'all, because you make a few of us look bad, I'm sorry, but are really defensive. Like, they try to use the method of posting things on social media, and I've seen quite a few, okay, and try to make it seem like they're secure with their singleness, but they're really not, and then get defensive when the message that they're sending shows that they're uncomfortable with it. And so when someone challenges them about it, then they try to place blame on whoever they were with as why it's their fault that they're single, or they try to place blame on men not wanting to approach them. But I'm like, if you're too defensive, then you're not approachable. Duh. Like, that's why nobody wants to talk to you. Or if you have a legit resting face and attitude to match it, nobody wants to talk to you. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so, or I can't stand where some women will say, no guy wants to talk to me, but the moment a guy tries to engage in conversation, they have these gates up. They're not guarded, they're gated, and they don't want anyone to come in. And so I'm like, the guy could just be a gentleman wanting to be nice. He may not even try to holler at you in that way, but you already have this idea of how all men are in your mind that you just become defensive anytime a man tries to approach you. So
yeah, and that's funny because my cousin, she had put up this status or whatever on social media and was like, I'm single out here walking like I'm married. Because you open, you looking for somebody, but as soon as that person try to express interest, no. So it's not even that, you don't even want to give nobody a chance. You just so used to being single that everybody's coming at you like, and then another Christmas alone. Oh, another Valentine's Day single. Oh, look at my friends who are married and bunned up. Everyone's going on couples trips. Looks like I can't go. But every time somebody try to holler at you, you got the claws up. Which one you want? So the one that I wanted to point out, isolation and routine and rulemaking. So, let me start with rulemaking because, oh my gosh, I think sometimes people create these crazy rules sometimes that no one but themselves will meet the benchmark. And some rules that people create are like superficial, like they saw on TV, like that, oh, we got to get to 10 dates. 10 dates, so it's not official, or 90 days before, how they, what was it, think like a man, act like a man, was like 90 days, you got to keep it, keep your dessert in the refrigerator for 90 days. Showtime, shut up. Him and his sign language. And I want to talk about so the rulemaking is just crazy sometimes. Like, I heard people, like this one girl had a rule where the guy had to drive either an Infiniti or a Lexus. Like, if he drove any other car, because she's an Infiniti type, what difference does it make if the guy, what kind of make and model, as long as he has wheels, okay?
So if he had a Nissan or a Toyota, did that count? They made by the same people.
Well, see, but that's when we talk about the dumb rulemaking. Another rule I heard somebody. So it was another person, she had gotten her PhD. Oh, I can't date anyone else unless he has his PhD. That you just shrunk, it's only like 0.8% of the folks in the population ever get that. And then you talking about you just shrunk your list down way
Dr. Francis, didn't you say that?
No, that wasn't me. No, that wasn't me. No, that wasn't me. That was actually somebody I know.
Did you see how she just threw shade to all of us that don't have our doctorates? It's only 8%.
Well, someone else is in schools to getting there, so
it don't matter, but they don't have it.
No, I'm just saying. Don't do that. Y'all ignore Showtime because that's not. I do not care as long as you're an educated individual and you have obtained some form of employment with the education that you have, and you're happy.
McDonald's have a college.
Hey, and so does Hershey.
University of McDonald's.
And so, in the isolation piece, let me tell you something. And I heard this from another gentleman who was married, who is now divorced. He said sometimes women feel like that when they get the guy or they start dating and now they move into the girlfriend boyfriend phase, that all of a sudden he's supposed to stop hanging out with his friends and his family, and now it's just supposed to be you and him all the time. That's the quickest way to single land. He had friends, he was hanging out, and the same thing with girls, because sometimes you have men who want to isolate women too. And they just, like, if you want to go out, hang out with your friends, it's like a problem. And then if they say, oh yeah, it's fine, and you don't come, you said you were going to be done at 8 o'clock, it's 8:02. Where you at? You ain't back yet. Isolation and rulemaking. We have to stop that.
But you know, as soon as you're not in that relationship no more, I've been guilty of that because I dated this woman one time, and she used to ask me all the time. She's in California now. Hope she's watching. She would always say, I sent her the link. She would always ask me where I'm at, what I'm doing, where I'm at, what I'm doing, where I'm at. Oh, you down Fells Point? What bar you at? I'm like, what bar I'm at? No, it's Fells Point. I don't fucking know. We just
right. We have to, right.
So it's like being down Adams Morgan, Theo. You know what I'm saying? So
DuPont Circle.
I don't know where we are, but this is where I'm at. But low key, when that person isn't checking on you anymore, you kind of miss it. It kind of feel like, well, damn. I remember when I had somebody that did care where I was at. Like, what you doing? Like now it's like this. I can just be out all night. So it's kind of like it's like a catch-22 sometimes.
Yeah, it is. But but while you're in that moment,
you don't like it.
Yeah, it has to be balanced too. It has to be balanced. Like, it's nothing wrong asking, and I feel like a lot of times it's like unspoken expectations, because you'll have someone who says, you know, hey, I'm on my way home, and it's 2, 3, 4, 5 hours later. It's like, well, are you okay? It's like they're checking out of care. They really genuinely care, not that they're trying to clock you. So
women get that misconstrued too. Having a family member that has been abducted and having a sister that was raped and murdered. I am a natural person that always asks. Like when I do it, if I'm dealing with you, I'll text you, I'm here, or I'm on my way.
Or you home yet? Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
Sometimes when you do ask that person, well, damn, you went out with your peoples at 7. I don't hear from you till 11 the next day. It's not a problem. I'm not clocking you. I'm not trying to be your father. But at the end of the day, let me know that you get to your destination safely. Let me know that you're leaving, and let me know that you arrive home safely. You could have a whole man next to you. I won't know. Just let me know that you're good.
Home. Use emoji. Bye.
You know, that's it. 9 times 10, I'm gonna be asleep. So just let me know so that I know that I don't have to worry. Because now, am I as a man wrong? If it's 4 o'clock in the morning, I haven't heard from my woman, and I drive past her house to make sure that she's safe. Now you see my car because you wake up in the middle of the night because you drunk, and now you go into the bathroom pissing, and now you see my car ride by. Oh, you trying to check up on me? So now you're the crazy person. I just want to make sure you was good, baby. That's it. You know, that no more, no less. So it can be misconstrued both ways.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask one more question, and then we're gonna do final words. What's the quickest way to remain single? doing something. What is the quickest way somebody can ensure that they will remain on the singles list? And TW, I'm gonna go with you first.
I think the quickest way, I think about the whole isolation piece. If you feel like you have to smother somebody just to be with them, or you feel like you have to parent them, I think that's the quickest way to turn somebody off, because you're not even trying to create trust in what you're trying to develop. So I think that's the quickest way, because like we all said before, there is balance. You know, for me, I do this with my friends. Let me know when you get home safely, that kind of thing, because I think we often take those type of things for granted. I don't care if you live 2 minutes away or if you live 2 hours away. I think we take those type of moments for granted, you know, and so that's just showing that I care. But what I'm not going to do is keep messaging every hour on hour, you home yet, you home yet, you home yet. Like, no, okay, we need to chill, you know what I'm saying? Because it's too much going on. But I think that if you feel like you need to disrupt or control the person that you're with, that's the quickest way that you're going to be single.
Thea.
I'll say 2 quick things. If you think you're always right, you'll probably remain single. And then if you think just because people in a relationship that they should change, you'll probably always be single. Like if I met you and we hung out a couple of times, and whenever I back that ass up came on, you started a little twerking. Usually you don't still do that when we're together, because like they're not going to just switch up. Like, oh, now we're together, I can't. So those are the 2 things.
I had to beat my head. Show.
Being stuck in your ways. You know, being stuck in your ways and not being open to change, and not knowing that compromise is the key to any relationship. So you have to understand that if you open yourself up, if you understand and you're giving yourself and you want to be single and you don't want to be single, you have to allow yourself to be a little bit vulnerable to that person's wants and their needs. And I guarantee you, you won't be single, because most people that are like that are single. And tell my man, look at what he doing. What is he doing, Dr. Francis? That's my man. Put him in the camera.
Come on, Zeke. Come on.
He just wants some love. That's all he wants.
Right. Jesus. So for me, I'm gonna go with inconsistent. I can't stand the inconsistent person. You're hot, you're cold, you're lukewarm. You don't know what you want. I mean, you got to be consistent, because if you're an inconsistent person, people will read that off the bat. Day 1, 2. You're not even gonna get to date 3, 4, and 5. You're not gonna last that long. Be consistent. Mean what you say and say what you mean. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. So, y'all, we're talking about single and unwilling to settle. This was a robust topic. Let's do our final words of advice tonight. We're going to start with Theo. Final words tonight, sir.
I'm going to say not settling doesn't mean that you won't change. People switch it up and reevaluate your list every once in a while. Go look at that, and then ask one of your friends, male or female, ask a close friend, would you date me? And tell them to tell you the truth back. I'm like, why not? And take that into consideration.
I like that, y'all. And don't get offended, because if you ask for the advice, don't get offended when they try to read you your rights. Take constructive criticism. Showtime. Final word, sir.
It's all about knowing who you are and knowing what you want. Because sometimes you can remain single because you don't know who you are, you don't know where you're going, and you don't know your worth or what you can give another person. So if those things are aligned properly, like a faucet and a cup under it, your cup will run over.
Okay. TW.
Being single is not a death sentence. I think we have to get out of that. Like I said before, shots fired. A lot of churches make you feel like you're undesirable or unwanted or even unlovable because you're single, and that's not the case. There's always this misconstrued pressure of what it means to be married, and I think we have to get back to that, the foundation of what marriage really is, before you tell someone that they need to do it, because we're not doing married at first sight up in here. Okay. We're not doing that. And then what we're not going to do is try to use God and saying that he's using the experts to place you with somebody who's toxic. Anyway.
The way Married at First Sight set up, I could do bad all by myself. I'm not about to go on. How you want to help put me in a situation with somebody who already got a child, who was engaged, baby mama, now he want to leave me, probably left me on the honeymoon, was with the girl. It's too messy. It's messy. No.
That's why you got to start with that self-love and that hard work first.
Yeah, self-esteem plays a major part in that, because you have to know your worth nowadays. And a lot of people, and this is going to be my final word of advice. If you know your worth, settling will never be an option, because you know what you deserve. You know what kind of, person you need to attract, that quality, that lifestyle that you want to maintain. But I don't mean that in a superficial way, because you do have some people that, try to use quality of life as a way to kind of like X out certain people who could be great for them. It's not always about a dollar sign, in my opinion, but really, it's really knowing who you are and what you're willing to deal with. Because what I find, a lot of people who decide to settle for the sake of not being single end up single anyway. The path to get there, they just took themselves around this roller coaster ride of emotions, brought somebody in their life that was inevitably going to end, and now you have a broken heart out of it. Maybe you have baggage. Maybe you have a child with someone who you really you shouldn't have been with from the jump. Now you have to worry about co-parenting with that person while you try to find the person of your dreams, which is going to be another hurdle if you're coming up against somebody who doesn't want a blended family. So don't settle for the sake of being single. I would rather be enjoying my life by myself without any stress than being with someone who I know is not for me, and at the end of the day, who I'm not going to be with in the long run. So with that being said, y'all, for those of you who are out here single, it is a choice. It is not a negative death sentence. So shout out to all my single people. Shout out to all the Pisces. It's Pisces season out here. And yeah, keep living life. And so that's it for Love and War tonight. You can do like you always do. Check out our shows on www.dearchristy.com to catch the archive shows you missed. Head on over to Instagram, Love and War _podcast, like the Instagram page. Go over to Facebook, Love and War. You can like us there as well. Share, subscribe to the YouTube channel right here, right there, down there somewhere. Share this show. And you're going to do like you always been doing. You're going to catch us next week. You want to know why? Because we are out. Good night, y'all.
Thank you for listening to Love and War. I'm your host, Crystal Francis. Don't forget to tune in next week, Mondays, 8 to 8:30 p.m.